The topic of today's video is something that's pretty serious. It's dealing with domestic violence. We all know that it's not easy to just leave a situation when you are in a toxic relationship, especially when you're in a toxic relationship that has anything to do with violence. We all know that a lot of times when women try to leave these situations, they could be killed, they could be harmed. So you definitely want to make sure that you have these 5 tips when you are trying to exit a toxic relationship that has domestic violence. The first tip is to come up with a strategy for leaving. Sometimes people have kids with their abuser. Sometimes people are just alone and they don't have any other attachments. But whatever it is, you need to come up with a strategy, knowing exactly when you're leaving the house, what time you want to go, who you want to go with, what you want to pack up. And please just be aware that whenever you do pack up, you're not going to be able to take every single item. The object is to just get out of there. I know a lot of people leave when the individual is at work versus when the person is at home, or sometimes they'll leave when they're out running groceries or errands. Whatever it is, you need to come up with a specific strategy for where to go, who to go with, and what time to go. Number 2, know that whoever is for you will show up for you. Abusers a lot of times try to separate you from your loved ones, from your best friends, from your family members. They try to separate you so that way whenever you do want to leave, it's hard for you to leave because you're like, oh man, so-and-so doesn't talk to me anymore because of this person, or I can't leave because they hate me. Believe me, if somebody knows that you're leaving that relationship that they wanted you to leave for the longest time, they're going to show up for you. So make sure that you do reach out to your family members, certain ones, not every single person. Reach out to strategic family members to let them know, this is what I'm doing, I'm on my way to you, or this is what I'm doing, I need you to come and get me, and they will show up for you. People who genuinely love you will not leave you in that situation, and I know from experience. Tip number 3, you have to remember that it will not get better. Your situation will not get better if you stay with your abuser, because if it could have gotten better, it would have by now. Honeymoon periods don't count. Doing nice things and lavishing you with love for short periods of time does not count. It will not get better. So you need to keep that in your mind as you're coming up with the strategy to leave, that it won't. And it could actually harm you. You could actually die. You could have serious bodily injury, and your life is not worth staying with an individual who does not love you. Tip number 4, do not let people know your whereabouts on social media. Keep everything to yourself or confined to that group of individuals who you trust. And please believe me when I say you need to only talk to people that you trust. You do not want that person that's in the toxic relationship or your abuser to know where you are. And don't go to the same place that you usually go to. Don't go, to your normal places that you go to. You have to cut ties. You have to get clean and leave, period. So please do not post whereabouts on social media. Don't even post pictures if you feel that will allow the person to know any clue about where you are. Because believe me, they will be following you on social media. They will try to follow you through your friends. They will call, they will check in. They will try to do as much as they can to know where you are. And you don't want them to know. Use police escorts if you are going to go back to your home, your previous home, or wherever it is that you shared a location with the toxic person. Because if you don't use police escorts, you don't know what will happen. Police escorts all you have to do is just give them a call beforehand and say, hey, this is your situation. I just left my abuser. I need to go and retrieve some of my belongings from the house. When you go, make sure that you take garbage bags. Make sure that your car is clean if you're going with the car. Make sure whoever it is that's taking you back, that their car is clean, because you're going to try to pack up as many items as you can in that one shot. You don't want to keep going back and reopening the door for trauma. You want to be able to go with police escorts so that they can clear the way, to make sure that the person is behaving, or to make sure that the person is not there when you go. But please, whatever you do, have a police escort. Do not go alone. By any means, do not go alone, because the last thing you want is for the house to be nobody to be there when you get there. And then in the middle of you putting things in your garbage bag and packing up the car, the abuser shows up. You don't want that. That's why you need a police escort. Like I said, in the majority of states, you can just give them a call, the sheriff's office or the police department ahead of time, and you can say, hey, I need to go to my house to retrieve some of my belongings, and they will make sure that at least 2 sheriffs or 2 police officers are there with you during that time. As a personal note, I know about this situation. I've had to leave a toxic person before, and I implemented every single strategy that I'm asking you to implement in these 5 steps. Your life is so important. It's so important. You are not alone. You deserve to live. You do not deserve to be abused. You do not deserve to be with a toxic person that does not love you. You deserve all of the love that you have poured into other people. You are not alone. Any friends, any family members that have left you during this time, just know they might not have been able to understand what was going on. And it's not their place to understand what was going on. You lived in a living hell, and it's time for you to get out. Please implement these 5 steps. Reach out to those that love you and want to see the best for you, and you do what's best for yourself and you leave that situation. Standing on the other side of it now, I've been blessed. I'm in a house that I love. I've done things that I loved, and it's life on the other side of a toxic relationship and an abusive relationship. Please get out. Get out. Use those 5 steps.